It's Raphael Rap, New Orleans Basketball, coming to you with a game preview for the New Orleans Pelicans season opener versus the Memphis Grizzlies. The matchup in this one is Zion Williamson versus Jaren Jackson Jr. Coming off a very rough FIBA summer, similar to Brandon Ingram, but still the reigning defensive player of the year, Jaren Jackson Jr. has seen the better of this matchup. Zion's had a tough go at it, shooting just 43% from the field versus his career average of 61% from the field. But the thing to really take a note of is Jaren Jackson Jr. getting into foul trouble. He averages 4 fouls per game for a career and in this matchup. If Zion Williamson and Jonas Valanciunas can get him on the bench in an early foul trouble, that would really test this already thin Memphis front court. The keys to this game are simple. Who can handle the nerves? Memphis is opening at home where they were 9-1 last season without Ja Morant. Marcus Smart is making his much-anticipated Grizzlies debut after spending the last 9 seasons with the Boston Celtics, but Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and CJ McCollum are playing in just their 11th game together. There will be runs, there will be momentum shifts, but who can keep their composure early and settle into this game? Secondly, who's going to value the basketball? The Pelicans averaged 22 turnovers per game in the preseason. That was the most in the NBA. Memphis was 8th last season in points off turnovers. Both teams were top 3 in steals per game, but both teams need to make sure they minimize their mistakes in order to have the chance to win this one. Lastly, who can dominate the paint? The Memphis Grizzlies were the number 1 team in the NBA last season, averaging 58 points in the paint. But the Pelicans were 9th, averaging 53, and Zion Williamson only playing 29 games. These are 2 of the top 2 rebounding teams in the NBA, so it will come down to who can assert their will at the basket and who can protect the rim on the other end. This wouldn't be a Pelicans preview without talking about the missing pieces. Trey Murphy is still rehabbing and coming back from his surgically repaired meniscus, while Najee Marshall is dealing with a bone bruise. It doesn't look like Jose Alvarado is going to be cleared in time to play in this one, but the Memphis Grizzlies were dealing with problems of their own. Ja Morant is serving the first game of his 25-game suspension. Brandon Clark is still out indefinitely, recovering from his torn Achilles, and Steven Adams recently reported is out for season with a knee. Both teams missing players on opening night. They'll both be looking to their bench for a start. Don't be surprised if you see Louisiana Tech's own Kenneth Lofton Jr. come off the bench for Memphis to provide an offensive punch that they desperately will need. For the Pelicans, look for their young players in Dyson Daniels, Kyra Lewis Jr., and Jordan Hawkins to see who can establish himself in the rotation early on. For all your Pelicans news and analysis, check in New Orleans Basketball. We'll see you guys after the game.